we go. All right, you got 5 o'clock and you're live.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. Thanks everybody for being here for this emergency meeting. We're going to take care of one property today. It's 503 Main Street. This property came to the attention of the Code Enforcement Office, partially through the police department, who believes there's illegal activity going on there. It's been listed as vacant by the current owner, which is a bank in California. I mean, they asked for it to go on the vacant registry, but it isn't vacant. And there have been a lot of complaints for the neighbors. It's also, if you looked at the photographs, which we will review very quickly, you'll see that they are, that it's in quite,
My God.
It's very, very bad shape.
Yeah, definitely.
The upstairs balcony is in danger of falling down. The back stairs are, that's trash on the neighbor's lawn.
What's the address again?
503 Main Street.
Okay, I know where that is.
Right. It does have a shared driveway. The people next door, there was a hose that was left running. And so there's ice down the driveway, and the people who live next door who share the driveway couldn't use the driveway because it was so icy, they were sliding all over. This is really a neighborhood mess. And in addition to that, it appears that there are, well, the police are monitoring the building. I don't want to say much more than that.
Wow.
Yep, there's the garage. So first what we're going to do, I'm going to let John speak a little bit about the property and how we got here. And then we're going to work on the unsafe portion of it. If we declare it unsafe, we will then review the categories under blighted and see if it qualifies. It looks like it does, but anyway, so let's get going. John, you want to just speak for a minute on this property?
Sure. Can you everybody hear me okay?
You've got an echo, just slight, but it's there.
You're okay.
Okay, hopefully that's okay. For some reason, the audio's not working on my computer again. So we first learned about 503 Main because the neighbor to the right, who has a very nice rental property, contacted us and said she wasn't sure what was going on next door, who was occupying the building, but she knew that the owner had died. And there was a considerable amount of trash at the time. And we went up there, looked around. It was very bad. I think it was $773 to clear the trash that time. And we did it because it had been marked as vacant. We've never had any sort of luck getting a servicer to clean properties in a timely manner. So we cleaned it, and that was that, and I didn't hear from the neighbor again. Then I heard from the neighbor a couple of days ago on the left side, and they said, the trash is piled up again. There's multiple people in and out of the building. And their main concern was the shared driveway had a large patch of ice on it that I guess is affecting them coming in and out of their property. And they wanted to make sure there wasn't like a water leak or something going on. So I went up there, walked around the building. I noticed that the hose they had left the hose filled, and it had burst at some point, and it was leaking water onto the driveway. That was causing the icing. And then I noticed even more garbage than I had initially. And I started looking around the house, and the house is bad. It's in bad shape. It's got broken windows. It's got a balcony that I wouldn't want anybody to go on. Again, the trash, it's got a tarp that unfortunately has shredded into so many pieces that it's now it looks almost like straw on the next door neighbor's house because there are so many thousands of pieces all over the yard. So I immediately went back and I was just like, this is an unsafe building. I don't know what's going on here, but as far as I knew, it was vacant. Now, after I talked with Marge, I followed up with Joe to see if he knew anything about it, and I followed up with Sarah. And Sarah was able to provide me with an email. Carrie, I don't know if you can pull it up on the screen. So in the email, it pretty much says that it was vacant. They registered it vacant, and then it was reoccupied, and that the owner still owns the building. The owner of record in Otsego County is deceased. So I don't know who these people are that are living at the building. I don't know if they are relatives. I suspect that a couple of them are not. So I'm not really sure. So what happened today is I sent our contractor back over to clean up the place with a police officer. A gentleman came out and said, you're both trespassing. You have to leave right away. I have 30 days to clean this up. My contractor didn't feel comfortable doing anything further, and I said, that's okay, we'll get a board order tonight. So hopefully we'll get that. But at this point, to enter the guy's property, I don't know, we might have to potentially go for a warrant through the city attorney.
Who was the person you talked to? Was he owner?
He claimed he was the owner of the building. I don't believe that, but I asked I was on the phone with the contractor, and I said, who is this guy? And he said, I don't know, and I don't feel comfortable asking him that. And I said, who is the police officer? Is he there asking who the guy is? And he said, the police department is leaving because there are only two police officers on shift today. So I guess they didn't want to pursue that any further.
Okay, so additional questions. Go ahead, Madeline.
No, we're pretty certain this guy is not the owner, right? And even if he is the owner, it's a mess and it needs to be dealt with. I mean, it's obviously neighbors too.
Yeah, so what I suspect is, this is what I know for sure. I inspected that place probably 10 to 12 years ago, and I did it with Constance Quackenbush, who was the owner. At that time, she had a live-in adult son, but I don't know of any other relatives that were either staying there or that she had. And then I became aware that she passed away, and I have no idea where the son went, but that house was vacant. We knew about it. And like I said, the servicer actually submitted a vacant property form. So it was at one point vacant.
Excuse me just a minute.
Okay, yep, there's the property. It was filed this year as a vacant property. Thank you, Carrie. Okay, so this is a complicated situation, but I still think the two actions that we're planning tonight are appropriate. And then we'll have to see what we can do about actually addressing what's inside the building.
Another question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, so I just want to verify and understand all of it in my brain for a second. This Celine Financial LP is the actual bank?
Yes.
Okay, and the bank is telling John that there is still people living in the house and that they don't own it? I'm missing.
Squatters, in other words, yeah. That's what it sounds
So,
like.
according to that email, it looks like the building is in foreclosure. And they had noted, usually they note what happens is they'll send a contractor out to maintain the property. And I'm assuming when they did their checks on the building, they noted that it was reoccupied
By whoever this is. Okay.
by whoever is in there now. But they did state in that email that the owner is still the owner of the building.
Which is Mrs. Quackenbush.
Right, and she's deceased.
And no one else is listed as the owner of the building, and the only contact we have is with the bank.
And the taxes are paid by the bank, obviously, because there's a reverse mortgage.
They've been paid, the taxes have been paid.
Right. Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry. So my next question to that was, if that's the case, if we decide, which I'm assuming we will, decide that it is a blighted property and that it must be vacated at that point, who does the letter go to?
Good question.
The letter will go.
So I was seeing this email today. I've already sent a letter to the bank. I probably should forward
that we got a copy of today.
Right, and I should probably forward a copy of that letter to the occupants of the building. I'm just gonna, say occupants.
Just to the address, right?
Yeah, to the address at 503 Main. If they get mail there, that's fine. Chances are, if I send it certified, they'll never pick it up. So I'll attempt to do that. I don't know that I, at this point, feel comfortable at reaching out to figure out who these people are. I'm really not sure.
One of our concerns is that we have at least determined who's in there. We may, John and I talked earlier today, and he wondered whether we would be able to order an inspection. And I think that would allow them to get a warrant to not be trespassing on the property. It's a code enforcement warrant. It isn't like a warrant for an arrest. The police would very much like to know that too, because apparently there've been some illegal activity going on at the house. So I think that may be part of our action should we determine that it's unsafe, which let's do that. Let's consider that right now.
Okay.
So according to the recommendation of the code enforcement officer, we would declare this property unsafe based on B, C, D, E, F, G, and I of Chapter 92. That has to do with damage or deterioration of exclusive of the foundation, improperly distributed loads upon the floors or roofs, which indicates the damage to the roof. Those have been damaged by fire, wind, or other causes to be dangerous to those living in the house. Those which have become so dilapidated, decayed, unsafe, or unsanitary that they don't provide for decent living in the house. Again, broken windows at this time of year is, and apparently bad roof. Those who have light air sanitation facilities which are inadequate. Those having inadequate facilities for egress. In other words, both the upper balcony and the lower back porch are falling down. And then those which, because of their condition, are unsafe, unsanitary, or dangerous to the people of the city, and that would be the garage. That needs to be secured right away. That's completely open. So those are the criteria, do we have any additional comments or questions about those criteria?
I don't.
With that in mind, I would make a motion that we declare this property unsafe based on the criteria of Chapter 92.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Madeline. Any additional comments? Okay, let's vote. Carrie, thanks.
Chair Mazick,
Yes?
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, based on that, we have our, what we want them to be directed to do. I believe that we should immediately, within 5 days of the receipt of the letter, secure the garage. I think we should order it vacated until such repairs are made to make it habitable. And I believe we should order that the code enforcement office receive a warrant to access the interior of the property.
I agree.
Second.
Is there any additional action you want us to take, John?
Just in order to have the property completely cleaned and board up the broken windows.
Oh, okay. Is that acceptable if we add that to our motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it would be remove all trash and materials from the outside of the house, repair the broken windows, secure the garage, access to the property by the code enforcement office, and vacate it within 30 days. Okay, that's my motion.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Okay, let's vote.
Chair Mazick,
Yes?
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, based on that determination and under our responsibility for determining whether properties are blighted, we're also going to review our criteria for blighted properties. And John has provided us with a suggested point checklist. And he has identified determination by the code enforcement officer, an engineering department, fire chief, or city attorney that the property is in a condition which poses a serious and immediate threat to the safety, health, and general welfare. That's A. C, the property is attracted or been an instrument of illegal, noxious, or deleterious activity, according to the police department. E, the property is creating a substantial interference with the lawful use and reasonable enjoyment of the neighborhood. F, the property has been declared unsafe by the City of Oneonta Board of Public Service. And finally, G, the property is registered on the City of Oneonta's vacant property registry. Then under H, H2, broken windows, H3, unsecured doors, entryways, or exits. 4, excessive litter or debris. 7C, shingles and siding deteriorated. F, accessory structures also deteriorated. And broken, unsecured, and disrepair fencing, and peeling of deteriorated paint. And finally, lumber, construction materials, dirt, debris, trash, garbage under 22B, not properly disposed of. That leads us to a total of 305 points.
Yes.
Any questions?
No. Sounds like so.
Yeah, okay. So with that determination, thank you for the recommendation, John. I make a motion that we declare this property blighted, and we notify the property owner that they have 30 days in which to submit a plan for repair of the property.
I second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, Carrie,
Chairman Razik,
yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes,
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you very much. John, will you notify us on success or non-success of your activities related to this property? Will you let
Sure.
us know?
Yeah.
I'll forward it by, if you let me know, I'll forward it by email to the board.
Yeah. It's sort of like we've had a number of these crop up lately, and 10 Division is one of them. But I think it's better to address these quickly, and hopefully, we can move pretty quickly on it. So I'm gonna try to move as fast as we possibly can
Thank
on
you.
it, and I'll keep you updated.
Thank you. And I do thank you, board members, for taking your time this afternoon for this emergency meeting. That's all we have to discuss. So I'll say goodbye.
good night.
Night. Merry Christmas
Merry
again.
Christmas if I don't see
Happy Hanukkah. Tonight's first night
You never
Hanukkah.
know. You never know.
you.
We
All
won't
right.
see each other probably till after the Christmas holidays now.